for 30 years, I was rather quiet, but for some reason, in the past 18 months, it was discovered that the ideas of liberty and the revolution was alive and well, and we're celebrating it here tonight. But I truly do want to thank you. The support that you have given to me personally, to my family, and to the campaign has been really, really helpful to all that I've done. But you know, Barry Goldwater gave me a wonderful introduction. He talked about my family. But you know, and he mentioned my wife Carol's been sick, and she's home and doing much better. But you know, I know she's doing a lot better because before I left home, she gave me a lot of instructions. And she told me what I was supposed to say here tonight. And one thing that she wanted me to say was a thank you, is personally from her, for the support, the prayers, and the letters and comments that you have made. We have really been blessed by all your friendship. You know, and even in that event, I saw something very wonderful about it, because our Christian friends sent us good wishes and prayers, and our Jewish friends sent good wishes and prayers, and our Muslim friends sent us good wishes and prayers. And lo and behold, we received a lot of good wishes from some agnostics and atheists, and we were delighted to get those as well. It confirms my conviction that freedom brings people together.
Amen. Amen.
You know, early on in the campaign, I thought I might have really messed up because, you know, I answered a question rather truthfully about me becoming president. And I have truly been a reluctant candidate, and was not all that anxious to do it, not thinking that there would be a large number of people who cared. I was skeptical. Some said that you were apathetic and we helped remove that, but I lost my skepticism. I hope you lost your apathy. But when they asked me about what I wanted to do as president, I said, you know, I really look at it differently. I want to be president because of the things I don't want to do. I explained that I did not want to run people's lives, I did not want to run the economy, and I did not want to run the world. I didn't have the authority to do it, and I didn't have the Constitution behind me to do it. But they said that sounds like a weak president. I said, well, I don't think so. I think resisting the temptation of power requires some strength, and we don't need more government power. I hope you agree that this has been a fantastic rally today. What do you think? And guess what? Guess what? Not one single taxpayer cent was spent on this rally. There's another meeting in a nearby town going on. Let us be respectful. But I also also understand that we do not have to respect the conditions that allow both other conventions to get $16.8 million apiece to run their party. Here we are. This was not inexpensive, and all of you contributed to it, and some a lot more than others, a lot of volunteers, a lot of money, and we paid every cent, and there is going to be no debt. You know, there should be an urgency about what we do. It would be nice to be relaxed and think that we're back in the 1950s when I first barely started thinking about politics, but it's not the 1950s anymore. It's a new century, and there's a lot more problems. And we have terrible threats around the world. We have a foreign policy that's gone amok. We have a monetary system that's in a mess, and we know all our problems. But there's an urgency in what we do, because we are carrying the banner, and we must act, because we as a group now have a greater moral responsibility to act than those who live in ignorance. Once you become knowledgeable, you have an obligation to do something about it. You know, it's almost been 2 years since the exploratory committee was announced, but a lot has happened, and so much of it has been so wonderful. And I have been so much encouraged by so many of you joining us. But there have been some things that, although I suspected were true, really came to light during this campaign. The one thing has been the response that has delighted me to no end, the response from the young people. Many times, the teenagers, less than voting age, will bring their parents to my office in Washington, bring their parents in. And I said, who got most excited? Who got excited earliest? And many times it's the 14 and the 15-year-old that brings their parents in and introduces them to our ideas. I said, well, how did you hear about it? I didn't know that you were reading the New York Times and watching the news. Oh, there's something called YouTube out there. That helped us tell us what's going on. But the young people responded well, but also those who were sitting and waiting and thinking about it, and maybe young in spirit but older in age, those individuals I consider in the remnant, the true believers that have been around and trying to bring us back around, they were there, the numbers were larger. It is said that we don't know the number of the remnant, we don't know where the remnant is, but if a time comes, you will be surprised how big it is. And I have been surprised, and I have been very pleased. In Washington, D.C., we frequently have resolutions being passed that rubber stamp the foreign policy of intervention. But they always get passed, usually nearly unanimously. Maybe there's a few, and sometimes there's only one opposing the resolution. But these resolutions will be designed to support the policies in Iraq and our so-called threat against Iran. And it is said that if you don't support it, you don't support the troops. Well, you know, the most exciting thing was, I think it was in our first quarter this year, when they added up the number of dollars that came from the troops. Our campaign got more money from the troops than all the other candidates put together. It was interesting to see how the establishment responded. You saw it on TV, you saw it in the debates, and so often it was a treatment of exclusion or marginalization or just making fun of what we're doing. And I think that didn't surprise me one bit. But you know, one thing that that, you know, when things like that happen, we need to turn them around, and there wasn't much effort needed to do that. Because the more they did that, it seemed the more it energized you in support for our cause.